saying a little bit more. Even though it did struggle in the previous game, I don't think that's an indictment on the champion at all. Just a very good strategy that came out for Hunter Thieves.
Talieya banned out on the side of FlyQuest.
Is that how you say it? I know there's been a lot of debate in the community.
It can be. It depends on the day.
If it's a good day?
One of those things. Yeah. Rakan expected to see that. And maybe the Tom Kench now. Actually, last game was one of the first. Besides our TLCLG, we didn't get the Jin Tom Kench we've been seeing so much of coming in for these 80 carries. Lost not so much on the Jin, so maybe we won't get that out of either of these teams today. And the final ban is Jace coming through.
Interesting to see. Zig is a pretty well-known Jace player, also great GP. A little surprised to see the Jace ban, but maybe they have something planned for Nintendo that they want to take early rotation, and they know the Jace would have been a problem.
Giving Bobchin a little power in the mid lane, possibly your bot to be selected here, and then Yasui gets to figure out what he can play mid.
I think that's the thing, is the Zoe pick, while very strong, Yasui has shown that he can handle it for the most part. He's probably been the top performer for Echo Fox Academy, all things considered. Struggled a little bit right early on, but since then has had some really huge performances on Yasuo and Aurelia.
Jungle support, possibly here coming in. We already have the Sejuani for Odd Orange. For pick number 2. Gragas is actually still on the Rift. May go over the hands of Golden Guardians once they get the chance to select again, if they don't actually go for that bot lane lock-in. It will be one of those. The Varus coming in for Fox Academy.
Very early Varus pick. Have to see what they choose to do with that. Golden Guardians have the Trundle up, which is a great option into the Sejuani.
Trundle too, yeah.
Could always see that.
Them.
Yep, and then we'll have to see what else they choose to go with. Maybe starting to tip their hand at the bot lane pick. You already have the Zoe, which is pretty much guaranteed mid lane, so there's not quite that, oh, we pick Swain, maybe it's going mid, probably bottom. You just know where it's going, as they actually take the Yasuo away, which is...
I like it.
You
know the Zoe's going mid lane, it's just... No, I'm just kidding.
No,
it's probably bot. It's probably for Benji.
Yeah, I know. It's probably for Benji. Chances top for Zig, but either way, I do like it because that was probably what Echo Fox was assuming that they were going to get against this Zoe pick. So this is one of those denials where it's like, all right, what else are you going to play? You going to lock in that Aurelia after it got nerfed on 813? We'll have to see.
Yeah. We did see a few plays tried. Not terrible, but definitely not the same impact. The charges. Or I should say charging up.
Yeah, some struggles for Pobelter at Rift Rivals when he played the Aurelian to Zoe. Had one good game of it where they won some skirmishes and one not so hot game.
Interesting picks. A lot of unsorted matches here between what's going on and between top, bottom, mid, jungles. It's going to be interesting to see what's banned out for phase 2, and Kennen starts it.
Yeah, I was curious to see, you know, oh, maybe they'll put the Darius against the Yasuo in the bot lane or something. But I don't think that's the case, obviously, with the Varus locked in. I think it's more about the fact that if the Yasuo is going to go top, maybe that it can work. Otherwise, it just feels like a power pick for Nintendo. Could still go mid, actually, but who knows. I don't think you want Darius into Zoe. That doesn't sound very fun.
Just sit up and walk and auto you all day.
Yeah.
You try to walk up to get your Q on, you get slept. The Aurelia still gets banned out. Maybe they were kind of just saying, we want to hit Yasui again. There's nothing that's really important. Aurelia could beat that.
Yeah, I guess so. They banned out the Talon already. At that point, you know, what else are you getting rid of? Maybe some stuff in the bot lane, but the Alistar came in for Echo Fox, so maybe they don't want to limit their pool anymore. Yeah. We'll see if they go with the Tom Kench, which seems to be the favorite to pair.
Oof.
Whoa. With the Lucian mid, I guess.
Lucian coming in, possibly could see Lucian Varus?
Yeah, I mean, Varus in the bot lane, Lucian in the mid lane, Darius in the top lane.
I like
kind of
Lucian
for it. You like Lucian
I'm
Varus?
sticking with it.
I don't know.
Why did you say yes?
I'm a party pooper, Riv.
We'll have to see. Yeah, Yasui could
Pooping on
definitely
party.
start locking it down with a little bit of long range. Urgot locked in for Benji, or at least in the spot of Benji. We're going to get some shotgun knees coming in.
Gotta think that's going to be a top lane Urgot. Zig did play a little bit of it back in the LCS before he got swapped out. So
not wrong.
We'll have to see. I assume it's decent into Darius with the range advantage, but he is short range and should usually be in apprehend range. So we'll have to see what happens. Pike coming in. Neo.
That's a great bot lane. Pike and Urgot, I like that. They synergize in color.
I believe it'll be Pike and Yasuo in the bottom.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just like the...
That is a great color synergy,
I'm a thematic guy.
That's true.
We'll see Shen being picked up. The Lucian's going to be flipped around here. They have up until 20 seconds left to make those picks stick. They can change their summoner spells for as long as they want.
Yeah, both teams ending up with relatively balanced team comps, all things considered. Bruisers up in the top lane, tanks in the jungle, mostly damage in the mid lane. The big difference is being Fox having 2 marksmen to none for Golden Guardians.
Yeah.
I really don't count Urgot as a marksman. And then as well as the fact that Varos would most likely be doing the AP marksman build to cover up the fact that otherwise they'd be all physical.
I mean, Orange could go Ludens, you know.
True. You never know what that man
can do. Just go Levi AP build, man.
It worked out for him.
See the champions at the bottom of your screen. And the situation here is a bump, and that's 1 for Yasuo. We saw it kind of being a little troublesome for a team to get in. You're looking to dive into somebody that can taunt you. The Phantom Undertow from Pike as well. So could be tough for that Yasuo to get himself into these engages.
Yeah, not necessarily the easiest setup, quite like a Gragas ultimate or something like that. I mean, they do have some. The throw by the Urgot technically works. The Trundle Pillar works, which
oh yeah, they do have the chuck. That's right, the dash forward. Now.
Yeah, that's a synergy you see more around the mid lane. We'll have to see if it works out in the bot lane. And then, like you said, the Pike Q also being able to pull people in. Not quite any of those monstrous AoE knockups, all those single target, but still options nonetheless.
30 seconds
See if Yusui can put the damage down onto Zoe. I know in this matchup, this is why I'm terrible at League, because I allow that anger I have towards Zoe and her bubbles to get to me, and I just want to go all in to start the game. And then after I die, I go all in again. At some point, it's going to work. I don't know.
It's less likely every time.
Less likely. Very much so less likely, but definitely see what Yusui can do. Bring in the AD now against Bobchin in the mid lane, who actually went with the exhaust, knowing Yusui's going to try to put that damage down early.
Yeah, very clear game plan here for both mid laners. Bobchin does not want to tussle with that Lucian at all very early on.
So tricky. Potluck over. That would have been terrible if they were just sitting on his red. You're like, well, I put myself in here. Then 10 dude helps Odd Orange out. The Trundles easily starting that red buff by themselves. Benji and Sheep are able to be right in the face of Lost and Adrian to start.
Yep, a good way to hide the Trundle. Something you don't see too often anymore. Teams don't try to hide their jungler start, but the Urgot being in lane right away, as well as Benji and Sheep being in lane right away, like you said, able to disguise where they went early on, as well as the fact that they knew where that jungle ward was on their own raptor camp. So Potluck starts the red, not seen,
around,
ignores the chicken camp, so there's no way for Fox to have any clue where he is unless he's going to show on this ward. Not going to show on that ward, so they still do not know where he is. You see the question mark king going down on the raptor saying, all right, where is this guy?
Wow. Great job by him as well. Actually positioning to the bottom side of Scuttle to walk away from you to get away from that danger, so he makes sure it doesn't go any more towards mid. The small things that make the play help. And there's the damage from Yusui. A little close for minion damage, but connects that piercing light.
Yeah, definitely won that trade. Bobchin's going to have to pot up a little bit. Did start with the Corrupting Flask. Doesn't have TP to get back into lane. Neither does Yusui, something that we started to see more and more of in mid laners.
Yeah, we almost had 3 per team last time. Now it's about 1 or 2 aside, and the 2 are on Golden Guardians here. Small push. Actually, I was going to say a good spot for Golden Guardians to be in, that 75% mark where you're just near your turret. They can't engage too much, but brush control is giving Echo Fox a good bit of health lead here.
Yeah, and they have decent vision control. They did get a ward into that tri-brush on the side of Golden Guardians. So Fox can go for that taunt pretty safe. They didn't know where Potluck was necessarily, but they knew he wasn't bottom. And Trundle also not being the scariest champion to not have eyes on level 2. If that was a Camille or a Xin, and he evaded your vision like that, maybe all your lanes are playing a little back. Like, we don't want to risk getting all in level 2, but against the Trundle, not as much of a threat.
Cole here for Zig on the top side. Feels like he'll just be able to farm out enough, not get too much pressure. He's going to need a ward down if he wants to play like this.
Shotgun knees.
To be safe. Super shotgun knees. But it is good. He's got 2 in the back. Figure out how those knees play as they charge up. You'll see him light up around his body.
See the poke from the Comet as well.
Yeah.
And
It's really annoying, but it doesn't always do too much. You just got to be mindful of it.
yeah, I mean, Urgot's definitely one of those champions with a bit of a weird trading pattern where your Q and auto actually does a lot of damage if you combine it with like a couple shotgun knees and you get your W and you walk all around them. But if you're not doing your full combo, it can sometimes look very, very mediocre.
Until you drag someone in with your ultimate, and then everybody's terrified. Another taunt comes in, Phantom Undertow. Locking down Adrian for a moment, he gets himself into a bad spot. That wind wall was shutting down Lost for a moment, and Potluck is just short on the party.
Kind of a nice combo there by Sheep to throw him back in. Adrian did manage to get stunned within his W, so he did negate a fair amount of damage. But then when they flipped him back, Benji had the wind wall out, so Lost wasn't really doing anything, and they were able to win that trade pretty convincingly.
Seems like they know these skirmishes are going to happen too. None of the ignites are thrown down there. Nobody's flashing. They feel like they have figured out the amount of damage potential and are really pushing the limits down there in that lane. You might get it back from Benji and Sheep. His aggression on the top lane to Nintendo X makes him think twice.
Yeah, I think Zig was a little unsure of where Auto Orange was right then, so maybe not able to go in there because it did look like that trade was going to be pretty good for him. But Darius is one of those tricky champions where you get pulled in, all of a sudden he's healing off his Q and looking bad.
Vision score. Nice sweep coming in from Potluck. He'll be clearing back into his own jungle, and Scryer's Bloom as we get a quick pause onto this game. Bit of action towards the bot lane, but everything kind of sorting itself out in the beginning. And I like the fact that they tried to hide Trundle in the jungle. It might have given them the upper hand, but they weren't able to act off it right away. Yeah,
not quite, though. It does still just make everyone play on the back foot. If you know where the jungler is, maybe the Sejuani, after going for that Scuttle Crab, just ganks bottom, and maybe you can get a kill there. And instead, because they don't know where the Trundle is, maybe he's top side, maybe he's bot side, they don't feel safe going for as many plays, and it allows Trundle to get a full clear off. So he went up, got the Scuttle Crab, Blue, Gromp, Wolves. I think he did his Wraiths as well. So a really nice clear for himself. It's one of those things that you don't see a ton of anymore, which makes me sad because the old level 1 jungle pathing and getting 3 pink wards and throwing them down and the team invades and all that stuff is...
Yeah. You're instantly in their face.
Yeah, thing of the past.
Well, still waiting to see if that pressure gets drawn towards the mid lane because Zoe is having a lot of trouble up against that Lucian in the mid. I'm just like blanking on names right now as we go in. Currently waiting for lag issue to be resolved with a computer restart before we get back in. But seeing how much pressure is in that almost has to be kind of covered in the next few minutes here for Zoe.
Yeah, I think it's going to get tougher as more items come in and levels go on. The Lucian is, by all accounts, still a lane bully pretty much anywhere you put him. And the Zoe doesn't have great tools for peeling him off of herself. So if you ever miss your Drowsy, he's going to dash at your face most likely and go for a Q double tap in. And that's where things can get pretty risky. So like you said, maybe you start seeing some more attention there. Also the fact that they have the stronger ganking jungler, arguably, with the Sejuani at 6. If you land some of that CC, she could die very fast.
So how do we play out looking, or how does it play out looking at Urgot in the top lane? Let's say he actually goes even with that Darius. What are we looking at? Is that a split? Is that a join with the team? What is Urgot's potential there?
Well, I'll definitely admit that I'm not 100% certain on what you're expecting to see. If you ask me what's supposed to happen with Gnar Camille, I'm like, Gnar gets a 10 CS lead and then starts dying potentially. Like, I haven't seen as many Darius Urgot games, but I assume it's counter pick. Zig should feel comfortable on it. I expect him to continue to grow that CS lead that he has right now.
Let's see if he can continue to pop off. A little bit of damage and a quick undertow with the peel back on Bone Skewer makes Odd Orange take a good bit of damage. He's down to about 60% before thinking about going back in. And Adrian and Lost now pushing forward. A big minion wave behind them with a good bit of casters to add into the damage. Ooh,
they get
great connect. Can she throw it off to the side? Too many minions in the way. Didn't have a paddle.
Nope. Not able to connect with the Q, but a nice trade overall for Bobchin and gets those minion waves into turret.
I wonder what this clean up top side. We see Nintendo X with a lot of minions under the turret. Oh, he gets stuck up the river without a paddle. Sheep has to use his abilities to get out of that one as he breaks it. He'll have a bit of health regen. And 56 to 46 is the CS I was mentioning. Nintendo did not have that much to clear, so there is an advantage to Zig on the top side. Golden Guardians now with a bit of full map pressure. are going to be able to start off the first Ocean Drake.
Almost getting that kill. Pretty scary, but they're able
Yeah.
to heal up a little bit. That's one of the benefits of that pike. And still get that. There was a nice play by Sheep there who flipped Adrian behind him to make it so his escape path was a little bit easier after almost getting killed by that flash taunt.
Teleport for Nintendo, so that's used top. No more teleports for Echo Fox Academy with all these games we've had today. So many teleports here, so it looks like they'll be forced to stay on their island top side. And now we'll watch if Zig is to make a play. Potluck grabs his red, and we're seeing Benji and Sheep return to bottom lane here. In the mismatch, this may be bad, but Lost has his summoners up even if Golden Guardians go all in.
Still have to be careful though, as Adrian lost that flash in that initial attempt to make an aggressive play. And now with Zig with the TP advantage, you got to be more careful. They do have a pink ward in that brush, very intelligent to make sure that there's no wards behind them. If the TP is going to come in, it's not going to be the most dangerous angle. So they can continue to play up a little bit. Good vision control that they've gotten for themselves.
Finally putting more wards down. I was just about to say the map is really dark on both sides. A pink ward top and a pink ward bottom was all that they actually had until Lost just set these down on the bot side. So you can kind of see the intentions of both teams. Slow, we have things to clear, not too many engages, but we have the vision to gain entrance of the jungle if anybody's coming in.
Yeah, both junglers not being able to find too many angles.
Not at
early
all.
on.
Odd Orange with the double buff will head towards top side. He's even got a long way to run. He's going for Krugs.
Oh, didn't hook his boy Yasui up with a...
I guess not. Yeah, not in the early game. Bobchin still has one to grab for him if they are able to go. Odd Orange is actually going to go for this. Maybe he'll get vision on the fact that blue is still up. But a good pink ward actually placed before that gets the entrance once again for into the jungle.
Yeah, Odd Orange just getting the Scuttle Crab instead. Bloop.
Nice and easy.
Now we'll find the red buff. But Potluck is collapsing.
Oh,
Maybe we'll
hello.
see a fight over it.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nintendo's like, my lane is leaving, and you need to do the same. They still have vision over, so they'll see Potluck try to go for Grump if that respawns, and if he's going to get onto this blue buff. Odd Orange says, yeah, let's taunt it. Frozen Domain goes down. Bobchin cutting off Yasui. There's the Drowsy. Watching two fights at once, and half of Yasui's health goes away. The exhaust immediately. A little premature from Bobchin now, and Yasui may be able to deliver back the damage. Oh my gosh, Yasui down to 150 HP as Bobchin is just hitting these Eagle Eye paddle stars.
Yeah, and don't worry, Yasui is in fact in the game.
That was the pause.
That was what the pause was about a couple minutes ago. As the downside to Adrian's global protecting Odd Orange is that the bot lane turret takes a lot of pressure. They were able to find some flashes as a result, but that's about it. So both teams disengage. Adrian makes his way back down here, and it costs him about half of the turret's HP.
Benji feeling good. Only that attack speed there. Not too many kills. Actually, 0 kills around the map to spike any of these buys. And nobody has a core item to start things off. Ooh, coming in, maybe seeing that Permafrost come on, kind of triggered Zig. He's trying to get himself to a safe spot. Permafrost locks him down, and now he is about to be thrown around. The dunk comes through from Nintendude.
And with that, Zig doesn't even bother flashing. Knew it was dead to right. But during that time, Fox Academy showing that the junglers topside have to back off. They lose their bot lane turret, so despite getting first blood, they lose first turret, and it actually works out better for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, very nicely done. Zig's like, cool, I went down, but you guys put some money in my pocket for the troubles. Echo Fox are going to go ahead and try and take down Rift Herald, and it looks like it will all happen uncontested. Teleport for Zig top. Oh no, okay. That's a teleport for Benji top. I was going to say they're not going to be able to stop Rift Herald, but it's just Benji going for farm, so very appropriate.
If they were more heads up on the situation, maybe they could have done it.
Yeah.
Sheep made his way up there if they had another TP.
Sheep being a nuisance.
Yeah, just trying to annoy him. Doesn't actually get anything off of it. Zig ran back down to the bot side, still with that TP advantage. Only has like another 30 seconds to really make use of it. Otherwise, an unpunished TP used by Nintendo.
A roam through the jungle shows that Raptors are up. They either decide to take it now for Benji, or they're going to leave it up to take down whoever wants it. Yasui in the mid lane. Benji stops Raptors, and they may not want it. Oh, the pike hits! The displacement is enough for last breath. and they are in with Bobchin for the kill.
Last possible second for Sheep. I thought that Q was going to time out, but he lands the undertow, gets the Yasuo on top as a result as well, and they find a kill for themselves. A lot of pressure around this mid lane as well. Not going to actually siege up with it, though.
I like the communication there. It seemed like there's a bit of back and forth. Benji was going in, and Sheep's like, I'm going to hit this. Just give me 1 second. Yasui spawning back in. We'll see this one more time.
And so you see the stealth coming in. Waits for the flash, and then I thought he was going to time out because he was waiting for so long, but just barely lands it. Ooh. Gets the chain CC with the stun as well.
That was pretty.
It's E after, and very easy kill for them.
Rift Herald in the hands of Oddorn. He'll go ahead and secure his red. Maybe some pressure towards mid lane. It doesn't look like they're ready to use that just yet, so we'll see what files out for them. A big wave towards the bot, or regular wave. That vision ward just made me think it was gigantic. Regular wave on the bot side. And it looks like they will try to get some vision at least into the bot side jungle. So this Rift Herald is for mid or bottom most likely.
Gotta think they're going bot lane. They found that kill already. Want to attack where you're kind of strongest right now. And Zig hasn't been getting that much help from his team. So very likely that they can continue finding these kills. Just not gonna be that easy when you're running past the pink ward nonstop though. Check that brush.
Check it. Check it.
It's one of those things where your bot laner has, or your top laner in this case, has been down there for so long with a push advantage. You assume that he's checked it, so you don't check it, and then he doesn't check it, and no one's ever going to see that pink ward.
Right under your nose. Looks like a lot of mountain drakes and ocean drakes today. Getting a lot of love from the RNG spawns. This will be another ocean on the map, 1-for-1.
Problem is with that global war, it indicates to Golden Guardians that, hey, there's probably not a jungler on the top side, and you see them kind of setting up this big play.
We should back.
Trying to wait for one TP. Ooh, very smart.
Oh, he goes in, lost at the last moment, stops his back, and they're going to push him up against his own turret. He won't even make it underneath for protection, and Benji comes up with a kill.
Really smart by Golden Guardians, waiting to see that they were, in fact, pretty desynced in their recall timing, and knowing that with the move speed from the W on Pyke, that they can just wait for the first TP to complete and then engage onto the next member, finding a kill on the loss.
And there's the Rift Herald. I love Pyke plays. I love the Evelyn plays, the Twitch plays. You always have to be aware that a back anywhere from a turret is a disrespectful back because they're going to pop out of the fog of war and take you down.
Especially knowing that the global call had just happened. You knew that the enemy team was aware that your jungler was on the bot side of the map.
Exactly. Gotta be aware. Those things are going to happen. It's always like when you walk around the map, consider every brush has a ward in it. That way you play it safe. 15 minutes ticks over on the clock. Shotgun Knees takes down Shelly right in the bot lane. And now the rest of Golden Guardians sort themselves out from the base. A few kills for Bobchin, or one kill I should say for Bobchin, one for Benji. And those supports for Sheep as he has been involved in everything across the map.
It's kind of being reminiscent of a game plan that Zig has been forced into probably more times than he would have liked to. A lot of his teams did not get very much jungler or team attention. And kind of the same story here. Fox keeps going up there, and rather than getting any kind of support from his team, they're always trading out. And luckily for him this time around, they are trading out favorably. They got another turret and another kill for him having to back off that wave and just kind of farm it out. And luckily, he also has a bit of a CS lead due to the lane advantage that he had kind of given himself in the 1v1 before Nintendo started getting all the help.
Yep. Faring quite well. Was always able to push the wave faster than Nintendo. Get him out of the clear, not let his Q do enough damage. And this is what we have now. Black Cleaver on both sides, but that Steric is being built up for Zig, so it'll be a little tankier. And that pressure going to continue to hover towards bot side as now Zig is in bottom. We're going to have a back here. It should be safe, but it might give enough pressure, or I should say enough time with the turret to set things up.
Yeah, a bit of a roaming death squad there by Golden Guardians, not finding anybody. Going back to the wave. Now Zig's the one caught out.
Boom! Arctic Assault, the 1-2 shot. Zig with that extra HP from the Sterix might just keep him alive. The self-shield comes through, and the stand united to almost continue the fight, but they pull back. Benji now on the other side, a rotation very far coming from Lost, but this could be big if Potluck and Sheep don't engage anything by the time he gets there. This is going the long haul as they size each other up. No Drake just yet, and it looks like this one might fizzle out.
Yeah, good decision by Golden Guardians to not go for some really long chase down flank with Pike and Benji, who are not particularly tanky, and instead refocusing down onto the mid lane priority to try and take this turret down.
The call is there that Arctic Assault like Glacial Prison is down from bot lane, but the kill still onto Benji. As Golden Guardians were just saying they make the right choice and put themselves in a worse one.
Yeah, really lackadaisical there, trying to somewhat still hit the turret while backing out, and just gets chain CC down onto Benji. Zig nowhere to be found as he had gone back down to the bot side.
Felt like it was a good play. I'm sure they would have had Zig saying, yeah, Nintendo or Auto Orange ult is down. We should be able to do this, but a hell of a lot of aggression still. Adrian flashing forward and Nintendo to start that one off. The last few bits of damage still going to come through on the mid lane turret and take it down, opening up the map of all three outers here against Fox.
Yeah, nice apprehend. Started that one out.
Yeah.
Once again, though, Fox are just down pressure. They continue to lose objectives after finding an initially good attempt onto Zig and then a good follow-up attempt here. Auto Orange buying space. They're all posturing, trying to get around that wall, and that's when he gets the hook off and Lost combos it together with his ultimate. Really, really well done. The taunt as well coming in. Easy to find that kill, but then there's a big wave in the top side. Zig's pushing the bot lane. Everyone has to break back off to deal with all that pressure, and then they still lose their mid lane turret at the end of all that.
Looks like Zig is actually waiting. No, he'll take the minion wave. Thinking that Nintendo possibly backed, but he's in and out. He's kind of just denying that little bit of vision, but Nintendo doing the same thing.
Both of them just finding a brush that they really love.
Yeah, hiding in it, hatching something. We'll see what they got. Maybe growing their own little plants. It's always nice to have something of your own. Usually it's a turret. You protect the shit out of it. This time, it's just going to be the brush. Top side is Benji and Sheep, and they have no one there. Golden Guardians is somehow just tiptoeing around where Echo Fox is. They're not going to have the attack range to get damage on the turret, but still making Echo Fox roam according to what Golden Guardians is doing.
Yeah, and having complete vision control while doing it. They dropped all those wards up in the top side, and it keeps Echo Fox on their back foot, who are just battling to try and get some back. As we get closer to Baron buff up in 40 seconds, they're going to have to do a better job of working down the enemy's wards. Look at the vision control difference between Sheep and Adrian. 43 to 28. It's a big number.
Quite a bit of a score. Being able to use that invisibility and get around with the speed as well allows Sheep to clear or cover so much ground. And he's definitely been able to get a few more wards out and hit those spots where the clears are necessary. Potluck gonna lock down Drake. I like that Benji and Sheep are kind of creating commotion on the top side of the map. They're saying, hey, we're looking at Baron spawn right now, getting that vision down. Bottom side of the map is okay. And Echo Fox is saying, well, we're clearing, and we can't do much about that. Hearing the roar go down, Echo Fox may feel like they need to put a little bit more pressure on the map, and that will be top lane.
This time around, Golden Guardians doing the right thing, unlike what Echo Fox did, and respecting the fact that the global roar tells them that there's no backup.
Yep.
If Benji was under that turret, you know that a dive would be coming in. Instead, they back off, wait a respectable amount of time until Zoe and Trundle are able to threaten a potential collapse, and then they go back to defend the turret. Did lose a large part of its HP, but at least it's still alive.
Just prepping it for the takedown. Possibly a lane they can run through if that Baron becomes something in their possession later. Everything is just cleared out for now. A little breathing room for the bottom side of the map as Top really starting to see some aggression. That would have been huge. Odd Orange almost getting pincered in between the wall, having to use that Arctic Assault to get himself to safety, but just walks out. Things are going back and forth with no engages, and everybody's kind of wondering, do we have enough damage to take that down? Is this the engage we want? That hesitation can cause problems when you do want to engage.
Yeah, and Echo Fox, or excuse me, Golden Guardians do not have a great engage comp to begin with. You have basically the Pike Q or a Sleep. It's really much more of a pick comp than anything, and the enemy team, when they're grouped up in full HP, it makes it very hard to find a pick off. So that siege that's been going on around the top side for a little while kind of felt inevitable, despite landing the Q to pull him back in. Odd Orange was never really in threat.
Both teams at 1 and 7, really hoping to find a win here, hoping to find the reason that they are at 1 and 7. I'm not in this game, obviously, but working on that. We have a lead. Now we need to close. We're behind. How do we get back into the game? These are the times you can make that happen in such an even game, rather. Figure out what those problems might be. Quick hit on to the bot lane. Adrian doesn't even have a chance to blink as he goes down. Lost tries to fire back, but Golden Guardians say that's enough. Let's push. What else can we get?
Exactly, finding that pick off that they were looking for. Like I said, good brush bait. They've been looking for it a couple times and actually convert this one. And with that, they're looking at what else they can get. Zig has moved down, up from the bot lane, excuse me, to potentially try and threaten this Baron or another dive if they can find a good angle onto Echo Fox's back line. You have the 1v1 of Lost versus Benji right now, but I'm not sure they want to go for it.
Ah! Sniping him in. Oh, last breath over the wall. No, he does not decide to go for it. The fight, however, comes in from Odd Orange. He wants to be the front line. Adrian is back. He is up from death and teleports into the fight with the Stand United. It's going to be Odd Orange still going down first, which was the primary target in the fight. Golden Guardians has such a lead, they don't have to turn from any of their targets. A great hit from Yasui. A much-needed kill coming into the fight, and Golden Guardians are still looking to tack on a few more with control of Echo Fox's jungle.
Nice engage there by Golden Guardians. Very tough to do with their team comp, but they've managed to find Odd Orange caught out of position. A very aggressive flash by Benji to get over the wall. His cooldown on his ult was still not available. And he did find his way into the pit. Yasui, like we said, had a good follow to finish off Sheep, but not enough as they're going to start on this Baron.
Two squishy members with a lot of damage from either side. They just have to get in range. Hail of Arrows comes over. Pollock is very low. He's the one they need for Smite. Baron's going to do that damage over time as Yasui now comes in for the fight. Zig getting hit up. They have stopped the Baron successfully, and they have taken down Benji, now with priority over Baron. Nintendo comes in being big enough for the tank. Odd Orange just in the flank, and Golden Guardians might have to go for broke or just give it up.
Yeah, they're all so low. They thought they could do the Baron, but the two marksmen pushed them off. TP's coming in, though.
TP is in on the top side. That's a very healthy Zig. He's waiting to get himself into the fight. He throws down the Q combo. 3100 health onto Baron as the hits start coming in. The kill goes down to Yasui, and Baron goes over to Echo Fox. Bobchin in with the ultimate for a few more pedal stars. Sheep looking for a way in. Can they get Baron off any members? And it does hit Nintendo. The follow-up there with the Drowsy and Potluck is going to be able to help take this one down as Bobchin secures it. Can they find any more members? A teleport in from Benji signifies that Golden Guardians want to stay for the damage.
Very crazy series of events there, but it ends up with Echo Fox getting the Baron, only losing one more after the initial team fight. Golden Guardians with that TP from Benji will keep the pressure up and try and siege with this minion wave and deny the Baron from being able to be used too aggressively. Doesn't hurt them too bad as they try and pull the trigger.
Quick Glacial Prison going out. Potluck big enough to take this one. It's Odd Orange getting hit up very fast. Jungler for jungler. And Potluck stays alive. Remember, there's still a few seconds on Nintendo, so Golden Guardians felt great about this push.
They have an Ocean Drake, but it's not quite ticking them up enough to want to continue that siege. Did not want to rotate down to that bot lane, so they're just going to back out here. Crazy, crazy series of events.
What an explosion.
Yeah. TP's coming in non-stop there. Benji on respawn getting involved too. Not the worst thing in the world because when you're up against the Baron buff, you're probably not going to be a TP flanking Yasuo, so not too bad to use that to grab a turret and another kill for themselves.
And definitely something that could plague these teams, trying to push themselves, thinking that's the lead, but just choosing the wrong time to do it.
Yeah, and just no way for Zig to really get in here. Tries to just charge in as well as Potluck, who uses ultimate, but not able to get there. No way to contest that smite. They have to back out. But they did land some good chain CC onto Nintendo. The first sleep chunks him out. Sheep is able to collapse with the second one, and they land another sleep to get that one kill.
Zig is a big boy now.
Elixir of Iron. Or is that what it is? No.
Did he iron up?
I don't think
he's just big right now. Yeah. It might have worn off. He was definitely bigger for a second there, unless Hysterics wouldn't have been. because he's right now healthy at the moment. It might go off in just a second. He is going to get taken down very, very low. One last shot, and it is going to be the hit up. The ignite coming in from Adrian. The turret following shortly here. The second tier top lane going down. Not many minions right now behind Echo Fox, but they are putting down the pressure, knowing they only have a short time with Baron.
Only 50 seconds left, and they definitely want to try and break an inhib turret during this time, but a little low, want to back out after that. They use basically all their ultimates. The only one left up is Adrian, and they don't want to risk a respawn coming in from Zig, so they actually will back out after that. Gold lead, despite how crazy this has been, still in Golden Guardian's favor.
Well, I think that was an Iron, because he doesn't have Asterix, and Nintendude does. So Zig was actually throwing a little bit of extra cash in there. That's quite expensive, but big Urgot, almost unkillable. Went down in that fight, and you can see how much Echo Fox is really focusing on taking one member down, knowing they have the strength, and taking something after. It's always one thing and a bag of chips, but never more. Don't be greedy. That's the key here for Echo Fox as they move forward.
Fox, though, continuing to pressure despite hearing the Drake go down, knows they have a brief window to keep sieging up. Ever inching that gold lead closer to 0 for Golden Guardian.
Yeah. Doing a great job at kind of routing themselves around that early game pressure, and also now avoiding Sheep, able to create so many opportunities. 8 assists to the 8 kills around the map, and this guy has his hands in everything.
Yeah, Sheep definitely having a great game on the Pike, has influence on lanes. Uh-oh!
I was just gonna say, if they can keep an eye on him, what are you gonna do for the engage?
Yeah, that's the cast your curse right there. Full effect. Sheep gets blown up.
Oops.
Was having a great game.
Absolutely. So fantastic.
Good pick off for Echo Fox, but there's really nothing up for them to do with it. You just take that 300 gold, you're happy you're a little bit richer, and you go back to farming. Baron's not going to be up for another 2 minutes or so. Bit of downtime coming our way, most likely. And I think the scaling in this game is really interesting because anytime you have a Yasuo and a Zoe, you're kind of like, well, their scaling's fine. And they have a Trundle versus Sejuani, but the other team has double marksman. So I think a lot of this is going to come down to how quickly Golden Guardian's team comp can instantly blow somebody up. We saw if they're the ones who have to pull the trigger facing each other with a 5v5 engage, they don't have great tools, but if they're baiting a Baron and someone steps too close and Sheep can pull them, maybe that'll work. It's going to be very execution focused.
So it's not Iron, it's just a shield. It makes him look like a badass.
Makes him look like a big old boy.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 Drakes to 1. Another Cloud Drake will be next, as we're not yet to the Elder Drake. Game's happening quite fast today as teams are in each other's face, and even if the kills aren't going down, they're still getting pressure on the map, finding a way to make a fight happen later in the game or get the vision that will allow them to do so. Moving a bit towards the top, Potluck looks like he's trying to get at least vision control so Echo Fox won't be able to come through the top side of the jungle and make anything happen. Scuttle grab is nice. Looks like Echo Fox want the top side of the map as well. 1 minute onto Baron, and now is the time to get your vision in.
Yeah, it feels like Echo Fox have that extra bit of advantage in the 5v5s, and so they've done a good job of controlling the minion waves. But, I mean, to be honest, a lot of the fights have looked good for Golden Guardians, minus that one mistake at the Baron where they tried to finish it and just couldn't do it. So it makes me wonder what will happen from here, because I feel like Echo Fox's comp should be better, but Golden Guardians seem to be the team playing better at the moment.
And a few of the things coming in resources, that Frozen Heart, locking down Yusui and Lost would be great in the fight. Not so much Lost. I guess, yeah, Lost, because you Rage Blade up. You're not actually Piercing Arrow, so I stand corrected to myself. It is also for Lost. 30 minutes on the clock, and we see more of those core items coming in. Just about 2 for everybody, with that 3rd item being a recipe. Except for those mid laners. The solo lane's feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, Benji as well feeling pretty good. Has his 100% crit chance as well as the play of the Rune King.
Same play that we just saw from Echo Fox that took down Sheep. They're going to try it from the top side of the brush. Odd Orange and Nintendude getting low, but they are able to focus down Sheep right away as Lost picks up the kill. Potluck in a real bad spot between 5 members of Echo Fox. And look at the damage being traded back. If that had follow-up instantly, Echo Fox would fall, but it's just not the case.
Yeah, you look at that play and you can see how difficult it is to team fight with Pike when it's a 5v5 like that. Tried to jump in, gets rooted up by Lost ultimate instantly. Hey-oh. Gonna protect him. Nice job by Adrian body blocking there. Probably a little scary to do.
Double flash in hand. Clear the brush. It looks like it is just gonna be that. Oh, no! Oh, we talked about it. The invisibilities, the long-range spells, it's disrespect to back in places like that. Lost goes down 40+ seconds on these death timers.
Yeah, Potluck just respawned, so he's going to be charging back here. We'll see if they want to force the Baron. It's still a tall order for them to be able to do it, but maybe they can find a good turn-off after.
Over the wall. No Drowsy coming out of that one as the Paddle Star flies towards Odd Orange, and it's going to be the stun from Sheep. He says, I'll take the full fight so the team can come in. Benji hits the ultimate immediately with Zig in the shotgun knee front line. What a huge amount of damage from Golden Guardians. They obliterate Echo Fox.
And that's the turn that they needed to be able to secure this Baron buff. Sheep giving up his life, baiting Echo Fox into staying for that fight and buying time for his team to flash that wall. You see Benji, Zig, and Potluck's flashes all on cooldown at the exact same time because they knew they had to get over there to win that fight.
Echo Fox is so on board with skinning this guy. As soon as they see him, it's almost to their detriment.
Yeah, they're like, all right, well, he's over the wall. This should be fine. They're not all going to flash it, right? And then instantly all three of them go over that wall and find them. Choo-choo. They thought it was a free kill. They did kill him, but it cost them the rest of their team to do it. All of that coming off the back of Lost recalling and getting caught out of position. This is what feels like why Golden Guardians is playing better at the moment despite some of the struggles that they've had in the 5v5s.
Right.
And now they get their first Baron buff. We'll have to see what they can do with it.
Now is that situation where you don't feel comfortable. Don't let yourself feel comfortable. Don't get lackadaisical. We saw Sheep just after a moment of advantage for Golden Guardians. Chain of Corruption in the mid lane, taken out completely apart from the team. Now they seem to be in much more of the death ball. They have a composition to use. And Zig, with teleport up, is going to start pushing that bot lane a bit.
He's playing very, very scared.
I was going to say, where's he going? Yeah, he needs to get some vision.
He's been hovering down around there, not approaching the minion wave for the past 20, 30 seconds, waiting for his team to get vision before he really pushes out. Now that they're starting to see them more often, he's willing to move forward.
But that could be the engage from Echo Fox. It works both ways. Yeah, Zig is down there. Let's ult. Odd Orange just short on the Glacial Prison as Golden Guardians were expecting it. A big wave being brought into the top side with Cavalry here. And Benji to take down the second tier turret.
Good bit of play by Golden Guardians not to get engaged on there. Still need to be careful because they have a second one in the form of Lost, but at least Odd Oranges is down.
I love the Zeke's convergence between Potluck and Sheep. Absolutely awesome. Looks like they get Odd Orange. He's been in the front line, and they're saying we're all right to hook you in. We can do quite a bit of damage to even your tanks. And they are going to be in for the fight. Inhibitor goes down, and they're ready for the fight. Adrian's forced to taunt away as the team is doing everything in defense on the side of Echo Fox. Golden Guardians, the moment they feel like they have a lead, start to bite down and suffocate Echo Fox inside their base.
They didn't kill anyone, though, so they can't get too over-aggressive.
Onto Odd Orange, again, onto Odd Orange. As Zig gets the second flip. They're playing ping pong with this guy. And it's going to be Adrian right back off the fountain to go back, finding solace, finding help, anything they can do to keep themselves alive to help that Nexus stand tall. But it will not be enough. 33 minutes in at 15-9. The KDA possibly being more padded as we see Golden Guardians putting the finishing touches on the game with confidence. At 1-7, they'll move forward and hopefully start the momentum they need for the rest of the season.
Yeah, not a bad-looking game by them at all. They had some good map plays. They had some great Ike
coming
plays.
back as well.
Yeah, having to endure that one mistake that they made kind of in that mid-game, losing that Baron buff. But other than that, a really nice, convincing performance out of Golden Guardians.
Everywhere on the map, as somebody was participating, if they weren't there, saying if it wasn't Sheep, it was somebody else in his place. But that guy, a great game on Pike. We haven't been seeing it too much, but when we do, it's actually taking people off guard.
Yeah, and the Zoe as well, working out very well for Bobchin. A bit of a rough laning phase, but that's to be expected against the Yasuo. And then after that, landed some very critical drowsies and sleeps to set up some kills.
Yeah, as well. I think it was good to see both teams kind of make a mistake and be able to recuperate. That's something you need to see, especially from teams that are back in the standings at 1 and 7. It's not just we made a mistake. How do we get back from that? We saw both teams do that. Mainly, the one I'm talking about is Sheepy in the mid lane, or Sheep got caught in the mid lane, and he goes down, but didn't seem to phase Golden Guardians as much.
No, I think that's the thing. He was clearly kind of grooving this game and took the 1 or 2 pickoffs that went against him in stride and was able to continue to have a big impact in the fights later in the game, which is hard to do on Pyke.
Yeah, absolutely it is. We usually see him just going and dying, and you're like, well, death from below would be cool to see, but it almost never comes up. Well, to see how Golden Guardians got a lead in the game, let's start up the replays. 23 minutes in, the 3-for-1 near red, and this was the constant pulling, bone skewers and everything, and Golden Guardians being in the face of Echo Fox.
Yeah, and this is another fight started off after they had picked off the Varus. Ends up being a 5v4 that Echo Fox just shouldn't be taking. It almost worked out as Lost had collapsed back after respawning, but once again, they lost their top laner early on. They're chasing through. Sheep goes in, thinks he's out, forces Suey to flash over the wall. Nice play by him to find that one cleanup kill, but he's just kind of tickling Pollock on the back end after they got the other 2 kills on the other side of the fight.
Yep, and then we have a next replay at 31 minutes as Fox trying to fight back. They still had a great game, and they catch. This was twice in mid that they kind of ran this same play.
Yeah, and they have really good team fight, 5v5, where they're able to ult with Auto Orange and Lost to kind of pick their fights, whereas they didn't have that engage on the side of Golden Guardian. So despite seeing such low members, there's no way to actually follow up on that, as well as the fact that a couple people already died, so it's a little more difficult. But, there's no, like, I press R, and now I'm going to try and kill that guy.
And it's just, it really wasn't enough. We saw there was a great defense coming in after that as well from the 2 marksmen, but it isn't enough. Golden Guardians close out the game, and they're able to come in doing it strong as well. Once they had that lead, as I said, no hesitation to keep hitting the skewers.
Yeah, and you saw a couple times Auto Orange getting flipped back there, both Pyke and Urgot having abilities to flip you over their shoulders. Made it so he got pulled pretty far into that team, and then it's a relatively simple chase down from there, but you see, there's no lack of damage on the side of Echo Fox as they get a lot of the members very low, but the front line's still alive, so Potluck doing a good job just staying in front, and Benji jumping in there, starts finding those kills, and another sleep onto Adrian, made sure that he didn't get in there to stop that from happening.
So Golden Guardians coming through. A few interesting bans with seeing that Aatrox on the blue side for them, but knowing what they wanted, not something possibly that they practiced, but teams can look at that. Seeing the bans of how they went through and knowing that they can maybe tack on those plays of seeing Golden Guardians or Echo Fox kind of struggling in those early or mid-game decisions when they have a lead but can't go anywhere with it. And I think that's what we see Academy teams kind of working on throughout the season and just getting better at.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that this was a good game for both of them, like you were saying, to look back on and reviews. Obviously, you want to win super cleanly and be the best team in the world, but that's just not the case most of the time. And so this is the exact kind of win that as a team and as a coaching staff, you're able to take. This is what we did right. We don't need to greed around Baron. When we're ahead and playing well, we can go find another pickoff, and I'm sure you'll find another one. Don't all in against 2 marksmen.
Yeah. It makes a good point. So seeing Golden Guardians now move up 2 and 7 for them, they have a long way to go. We obviously talk about playoff spots, and these teams are a little bit out of range at this point with how well everybody else is doing at the top. Cloud9, the games these teams have against Cloud9 are going to be even more tough. So looking to figure out where those problems are going to be best moving forward for next season.
Yeah, and I think that's for a lot of these guys too. What Academy kind of is looking ahead and like, what can I improve on and learn more and kind of showcase my talents. Benji had a great Yasuo game, and Sheep had a great Pyke game, and those are the kinds of things that people are going to be eager to look at and say, oh, okay, so he can play these things, and that's what you're kind of doing here and showcasing your skill set.
And where do you think, I just a kind of opinion question, where do you think Pyke actually fits into that? Is it a style your team kind of has to get behind, or is he something that can fit into most and teams should actually try it?
I think he's probably a little bit more versatile than NA teams have indicated they think he is, because there's a fair amount of kill lanes in the bot lane, these Swain lanes, these Vladimir lanes, and he can work with those pretty well as the kind of setup tool, and even sometimes being the KSer because his ultimate shares the gold. So I think with how volatile some bot lane matchups are, I think he is more viable than we've seen.